So I may fully regret volunteering to talk tonight. So it's I'm going to do my best. So we opened our service tonight with Over the Rainbow. It's the song that inspired the rainbow flag and all that it represents in the LGBTQ community. Plus, Over the Rainbow comes from The Wizard of Oz, the story of a small collection of misfits that serendipitously come together, searching for wholeness and a sense of belonging. You all know the story, so I won't go into the details, but it turns out that their journey together, it was their journey together. Their time with each other was what made things right, not the wizard, in fact. Once they learned to love and accept themselves, while on a very, 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 very long walk through the foreign lands, you've heard the story before, they were able to find courage and love and wit and home. The song actually is a pretty perfect allegory, I think, for what is going on in this week's Torah portion. In this part of the story from Numbers, the Israelites are griping about how crappy the food is, how much their bodies ache, how much everybody stinks probably, and how everybody wants to just have home. They want home, they want to go home, they're tired of the manna, frankly. They have reached maximum crankiness on their never-ending pilgrimage across the desert. And if they'd stopped short of saying they hated eating manna so much they'd rather just go back to being enslaved, I don't think the consequences would have been so terrible. But the words were said, and the outcome was pretty nasty, if you know the story. It's kind of the, if you put it on your plate, you were going to have to eat it part of the story. It's not a great moment, but it has a pretty, profound point. There are a lot of points I could make about the story that would be very timely. It says a lot, though, about how little tolerance God has for humans enslaving one another. And with Juneteenth just coming up around the corner, it's a good time to point out that God was never on the side of enslaving Africans, or Jews, for that matter. It also says something about which freedoms are worth complaining about. Freedom to eat whatever you want. Hush up and eat your manna, people. The freedom to be fully and wholly Jewish, or simply yourself. Yes, that one is worth fussing about. The freedom to live your life fully, to be the person you were created to be, is top-tier stuff. Here we come. It's a very resonant story. It's important, these things, and it's, it resonates, I know, in all of you, and in my family as well. Okay. Regret. The freedom to live your life fully and to be the person you were created to be is the top tier stuff, and it's not to be taken for granted. Our second song, I Am What I Am, which we all sang together, stands in for Mika Mocha tonight for that very reason. The freedom to be yourself, to love who you love, and be loved as you are, these are essential Jewish values. Despite the wildly grotesque consequences the Israelites have to suffer on account of kvetching about the hardships of being free in a desert with only crusty manna to eat off of the rocks, Torah spells out the value of freedom with the utmost clarity. It's more important. Another big takeaway I had with this was the importance of being grateful for the present moment. I have been now journeying with you for somewhere between 20 and 21 years. And I know that because it was just after Micah was born, who's my oldest. And very clear as day, looking out those windows every Friday night. And those trees are a lot bigger than they were then. And I had shed a few tears in those moments as well. Just getting to the end of the Friday was always such a relief. And then just to kind of sit there and play songs and look at the trees was really a wonderful thing. So we've had so many wonderful times. Okay, we've been putting this off for a long time. The crying, I mean. We've had so much laughter, and quite a few tears as well. We've had our times of fussing and griping and complaining and arguing and discussing, but we've always come back to the center, which is gratitude for the beauty and uniqueness of each other, and for what the moment has to offer. For music only lives in the present. Once it's not singing or listening, once it's silent, it's not there. It is present. It is the present. And I think that makes it very unique and the experience of singing together much more profound for that reason. It is the gratitude for the moment that is most important. Delight in being able to help each other a little bit or a lot sometimes. The wonder and the extraordinary things that we can do together when we work really hard and when we listen and when we have a little faith in our own abilities. If I had to list the many treasures I have acquired from my time at Shir Tikva, we would literally be here until tomorrow morning, and I'm not kidding about that. That's how truly grateful I am. You need to know that. Practical wisdom, and I'm a practical person, I really am. Practical wisdom might have ended our time together some years ago, but I always believed with certainty that I wasn't really done here yet, and I was still growing, and you were still growing, and our time together was still important. And possibly one of the greatest gifts I received at Shir Tikva was Musar, and the true meaning and incredible importance of humility. And there's a line in the next chapter of Numbers, which Hollis says that's where the Torah portion ends. I'm not sure. Other sources disagree, or at least the ones that I saw. That points out, somewhat casually, it seems, in my opinion, like everybody knows the backstory so well, they didn't have to really explain it, that Moses was the most humble person on the face of the earth. I mean, just like dropping that in there, which I find really had to say that in those words. The most humble person on the face of the earth. So, no arguing about that. Wow, who knew there was ranks of humility? But there are. So that's a statement that would come to mean much more later on in his story, for sure, when it was time for Moses to exit stage left and kind of not to get to go to the promised land. But for today, we are all for today's message. What that means to me is that we are, one, all replaceable at the basic level. And that's not the point. And thank goodness, right? We need to be replaceable. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. I keep losing my place. Okay. The point is what we get out of the time we have together. The point is what we have in the time we have together. And we have gotten so much. I fear that if I start down memory lane, I know for a fact that if I start down memory lane, I won't be able to maintain composure. Not happening. But you are going to have to trust me on this. My particular gifts served a purpose in this place. And so will my successors. And so do all of yours and yours. And all of your children and all of your children's children. From generation to generation. I am grateful to have had this time with you. You have taught me so much about who I am, and you have forgiven me so easily for who I'm not. And I have found an incredible sense of belonging here. that I think has truly helped heal wounds of years past, and I hope you all, in the choir especially, have found a little of that as well. Yeah.
Trying to help you. I feel like I need to say, may you please be seated. But it is a truism that you never want to follow the person who just got a standing ovation for their remarks in the synagogue. And I am regretting now that over the past 20 years, but especially over the time that I've been here, that we didn't have you preach more frequently from this bimah, and I feel like you are holding out on us. As we say thank you to Susan for her years and years of service. I know that she is going to be missed by our community as a whole. I know that the choir especially are going to miss her. And I know that Cantahollis is going to miss her. And I'm going to miss her managing Cantahollis as well, because their relationship is a very special one. And I don't think anyone can keep Cantahollis quite in check in the same way that Susan is able to. It is a wonderful thing to take a position as a member of the clergy team, essentially, in a community that might not be your own religious tradition. To step forth in that way, courageously, into unknown space, perhaps a wilderness, if you will, is something very brave to do. And Susan did that. And in doing that, Susan gave our community a real gift. The gift of her family, who have been part of our congregation and community for these 20 years. And that gift has allowed music in a congregation named for song to be elevated again and again and again. I was thinking about your comments about everyone being replaceable. And while that might be true, it doesn't mean that there isn't still a hole, a void, a gap where the person once was. And while there will be a tremendous gap, a void from where you are and have been with our community, we know that our choir has been elevated in so many ways through your presence, with the beautiful music that we've heard this Shabbat and on so many other Shabbats and occasions. There were two reflections that I wanted to share personally. For some reason, as we were approaching this moment, I kept thinking about the period where we were under COVID guidelines. And when we had 4 boxes on our screen here at Temple Shir Tikva, and one of those boxes was Cantahollis and Susan together, with Susan playing the piano, often out there in our prayer garden with Cantahollis. They maintained the music of this congregation at a really difficult time. But more than that, and I don't know that everyone knows this, Susan was the driving force behind ensuring that our choir still found opportunities to sing and still were able to bring music to our High Holy Days and to our celebrations together. Not just one voice as we had most Shabbatot, but multiple voices. She learned how to do that technology to merge your voices into one, and she gave that to our community, giving of her time and herself so that in a hard time, we could still have music. And then the other reflection was about the trip that we took together, some of us, to Israel. And I keep thinking about actually the burger that we shared one evening when Cantahollis went off somewhere and left the 2 of us. And for me, what was so wonderful there was the opportunity to get to know you better, to have the opportunity to have you not just as a colleague, but as a friend and someone who it's been such a pleasure to spend time with and get to know over these years. And again, I think I speak for the whole community when saying that we are going to feel your absence. We're going to feel the loss. But, and I hope you know this, that you and your family, all of you, will always have a home here at Temple Shir Tikva. And we hope that you won't be strangers and that you will come back and visit. We won't make you play and we won't make you conduct the choir in those occasions, unless you want to. But we would love to have you back here as just a member of our community, as a guest here, but not just a guest, part of the family. And I think that's what you've become for our community. You are a part of our family here at Temple Shir Tikva, and that is a gift and something so special. And the final thing that I just wanted to reflect on is that Rabbi Lisa and I have to use our words to elevate the service. Susan has elevated our services through music. And we know that music has a power to elevate us in a way that words just can't on their own. And in that way, Susan has been here elevating our prayers here at Shir Tikva, the Song of Hope, in this Jewish communal setting over 20 years. How many prayers have been elevated through her, by her, with all of you joining your voices with hers? And so there aren't the words to say thank you for what you've done and the gift that you have shared with our community, but please know the gratitude that we all feel for you And please know that you are now part of the mishpacha, part of the family. And so we hope we will see you again soon. And so when we do say lehitraot, which is our Hebrew word for goodbye, it means actually we'll see you again.
So this is the part of the service where we would normally turn to page 40 for Mi Chamocha, but don't turn to page 40 because the words you will be singing tonight will be on the screen. Mi Chamocha is nothing if not a prayer about coming out of tight, oppressive spaces. And so, on brand for Pride Shabbat, we will sing the iconic song about coming out of tight, oppressive spaces together. I Am What I Am from La Cage aux Folles by Jerry Herman. Please sing with us.
Or important like a mountain, or tall like a tree.